How are we doing, guys? And welcome back to TSTV for the preview of Brighton and Hove Albion versus Chelsea, round 2. Second time we played Brighton in the space of the week. Obviously, last Saturday night, really disappointing performance up at the Amex Stadium in the FA Cup fourth round. No fight, no passion, no desire. I was very angry about the manner of that defeat, and I think a lot of people were very angry as well. But look, we got a chance to turn things around. We got a chance to get a bit of revenge pretty quickly and, get that monkey off our shoulder and go there and put in a really positive performance. But there is a lot of negativity going into this game. Obviously, since we last spoke, Nicholas Jackson has been confirmed to be injured for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Before the Brighton game last week, Enzo Maresca was hopeful he could actually make that particular game and maybe be on the bench. But to be honest, not to say that Enzo Maresca is a liar or anything like that, but I do sometimes take what managers say, and particularly Enzo Maresca with his track record this season, take what they say with a pinch of salt when it comes to injuries, because the amount of times this season where a player's only meant to have been out for a game and then all of a sudden it's 5 or 6 weeks. It's happened quite a few times. It's happened with Wesley Fofana, Romeo Lavia, Reece James, and now obviously with Nicholas Jackson. There'll be a lot of people that'll be sitting there going, oh, it's not that much of a bigger loss. Look at the way Jackson's been playing recently. Look at the chance he's been missing. We'll be fine without him. And I'm not someone that subscribes to that theory because, look, Nicholas Jackson has missed a lot of chances recently. He's a very streaky player, but he still brings a lot to the table in terms of the team, right? He presses. He is one of our only players that actually runs in behind. He does a lot of hard work and running the channels, linking up with different players, linking up with Cole Palmer. They've got a fantastic relationship, and taking that part of the team out is going to really affect us, I feel, especially as we've got no real backup at centre forward. Now obviously Mark Guiu's also injured, but you couldn't have hung your hat on an 18-year-old that's not really played many games, and it just goes back to such a poor lack of squad planning. I mean, the way they've built this squad is just absolutely ridiculous. The sporting directors should really be ashamed of themselves, and we've now left ourselves with a mountain to climb to get in the top 4, because by the time Jackson comes back, that could be early mid-April, and we could be well out of the running for top 4 by then. I know we're in it at this moment in time, but what you need to do is lose 3 or 4 games and you could be well behind the 8 ball. And I think people will really start to appreciate the little things that Nicholas Jackson does on the ball and off the ball that help the team now that he's going to be out injured. And absence makes the heart grow fonder, doesn't it? And I can't really be dealing with Christopher Nkunku up front, but that's where we are right now. I mean, he was so lazy last week. He's been really lazy recently, just sulking around, not pressing, not running, getting the ball and then looking to go backwards, not looking to penetrate in the final third, not looking to get in the box. And now, look, he's got a run of games where he's going to have the chance to be able to prove himself as not necessarily a number 9, because that's not the position he wants to play in, but prove himself to be the star player that we bought him to be. And maybe it could resurrect his Chelsea career. Maybe this could be a blessing in disguise. I am very much clutching at straws here, but he's got to take that upon himself. He's going to be the solution for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Hopefully it helps him that he knows that he's going to be in the team week in, week out. And yeah, we'll see where we go. I mean, even in the press conference earlier, Enzo Maresca talked about playing Pedro Neto or Tyreek George or Noni Madueke up front. And I mean, I can't really see him doing that, to be honest. But I mean, you never know. If Nkunku gets injured or Palmer gets injured, then maybe needs must. But it's certainly not an ideal situation to be in. And we've just got to try and go out there and get 3 points in any which way we can. And in my prediction show for the rest of the Premier League games, I kind of talked about Arsenal's difficulties up front at the moment, how they've got 3 kind of forwards that are only fit, which is Manieri, Sterling and Trossard. And that's really difficult for them to navigate like it is for us. But they can rely on a really good goalkeeper, a great back 4, a solid midfield. Obviously, we've got Moises Caicedo, but the rest of our midfield, without Romeo Lavia in there, looks a bit porous at the moment. So they can kind of nick a goal, go 1-0 up, and then maybe see it out. And we just can't do that. We're going to need to score 2, 3, 4 goals a game, and I just can't really see us doing that at the moment. So yeah, we're in a really tricky spot, but these are the players we're left with now. At the start of the season, we had a plethora of attacking options. But now all of a sudden, obviously, João Felix going out on loan, Michaela Mudryk, we don't know what's happening with him. Mark Guiu injured, Nicholas Jackson injured. Suddenly we look very, very short in that area of the pitch. So yeah, we just got to get behind the team, got to get behind Enzo Maresca. Hopefully they can pull out a performance on Friday and, kind of shut up some of the doubters and, give us a bit of confidence going into this next kind of 13, 14 games plus the Conference League, because we really do need a boost at the moment. And usually I sit there and go, do you know what, it's not actually about performance, just the 3 points. And I still sort of subscribe to that. 3 points is obviously the most important thing, but I do really want to see a performance, because there's been a couple of games recently, Wolves, West Ham, where we've got the 3 points and we said, do you know what, it doesn't matter, we played poorly. It's all about the 3 points. Hopefully that will make us kick on, and that just hasn't happened. So I do think at some point we need to get the 3 points and actually a performance as well. So yeah, let me get into the predicted lineup. In goal, Philip Jorgensen. A bit simpler for me this week because Enzo Maresca himself has come out and said Philip Jorgensen will be starting and Robert Sanchez is currently the number 2. Now, I'm very pleased with that decision. I think it is the right decision at this moment in time. Robert Sanchez has been, let's be honest, a complete disaster this season, and his form's only been getting worse. He looks like it's really getting to him as well, and there's part of me that does feel sorry for him, right? Because it can't be nice as a professional to be out there and know that everyone knows that you're just not up to it, or you're going to make a mistake, and it must creep into your subconscious. So, yeah, Philip Jorgensen in goal. At right back, it will be Reece James. I thought Malagusto was really poor last week. I was really advocating for him to come in and have a good game because he's a player I really like, and I thought he was great last season, but he's not played well at all this season. I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know if it's like he's carrying an injury or he's lost some confidence, but I think even so, Reece James would have come back in for this game anyway. But yeah, Malagusto's performance last week really did concern me. At centre-back, I will go with Levi Colwill. Obviously, he sat out the FA Cup game last week. He will be back for the league game. I think that was just a rest. I don't think he's been dropped. So he will be at left centre-back. And next to him, I believe, will be Trevor Chalobah. This is a bit of a tougher one. You could toss up between Chalobah or Tosin right now. But I think, Chalobah's been at the club a long time. He's got really good leadership and intangibles. And he's someone that I think the players really, really respect. And, he's been there, seen it and done it in a Chelsea shirt over the last few years and played in big pressure moments. And I think maybe having his stability next to Colwill could help us right now. A left back, very simple one, Marc Cucurella. Didn't have his best game last week. Obviously got pooed a lot every time he got the ball. But I think he's a pretty strong character. I think no one played really well last week at all. And I don't particularly blame him for any of the goals. Or I don't think he was particularly bad, but yeah, he'll be at left back. In midfield, there's no other options, so it will be Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. Moises Caicedo, I thought, was the only player that could come out of any real credit last week. I thought he still put himself about, and his pass accuracy was still very good. Won a lot of his battles and won a lot of tackles and was very competitive. So yeah, he starts in midfield, and alongside him will be Enzo Fernandez. He obviously came off the bench for Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. I don't expect to see Kiernan Dewsbury Hall starting again, and Enzo Fernandez has, I think, had quite a good season. I think he's one of the players that even in this difficult period has stood up a fair bit. So I'd expect him in midfield. The wide areas is a bit more tricky at the moment. I think it will be Noni Madueke. I don't think Pedro Neto really delivered at all last week. He obviously had that great cameo coming off the bench against West Ham, but really produced nothing last week. He was very disappointing, and a lot of the time he was getting the ball and kind of shimmying back there and back, then not crossing it or crossing it into no one, or he was falling over. He wasn't really targeting any of the space in behind. So I think Noni will come in for this game. Again, he's not been playing that well recently, but he is a far bigger goal threat, and obviously without Jackson in the team, without a recognised centre forward, we need as much goal threat as we can. So I think Noni has to start. On the left, I believe it will then be Jadon Sancho. I don't think Enzo Maresca likes playing Pedro Neto on the left-hand side. I thought Jadon Sancho actually started his time off at Chelsea really, really well. I think up until about December, he'd been, a really, really consistent performer. Not always scoring loads of goals, but again, that's not really his function in the team. Providing assists, he was, chipping in quite a few of them, and linking up play, and had a really good relationship and chemistry with Cucurella. But he seems to have gone well off the boil. But at the moment, needs must. We've not got many options. So Jadon Sancho left. Cole Palmer at number 10, very, very simple. He's gone off the boil again a bit recently. You could say that about pretty much every one of our players, but he has to play. You know, if anyone's going to get us through this tricky period, it's going to be him. We just need him to, get that magic spark back. Even in this difficult run, he showed glimpses, but maybe not as consistently. But if we can get Cole Palmer on the ball, if we can get him in the right areas, he can cause absolute havoc and create that bit of magic. And hopefully we can get him up and running again. And then, up front, it will be Christopher Nkunku. I've said previously I don't want to see him play up front. I'd rather see us play one of the kids, Shim Nweka, Ronnie Stutter, Donnell McNeely, but that's not going to happen. So, Christopher Nkunku will be up front. And, hopefully he puts in a little bit more effort and is a little bit more productive than he was last week. So, that's the predicted lineup, guys. And now for a prediction in terms of the result. I mean, I really can't be optimistic after last week's game. I mean, I want to be trying to be one of those fans that says we're going to win every week and by osmosis we're going to win the league, we're going to win the FA Cup, we're going to win the Conference League. But I'm a bit of a realist, right? So I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw. I can't really see us winning this game. I don't really think Brighton were that great either last week, to be truthful. I thought they were pretty poor and they just were fortunate that we were far worse and they took full advantage. So, fair play to them. But I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw. Probably still not a good enough result, but at least it won't be as bad as last week. So, those are my thoughts on the game. That's my predicted lineup and my prediction for the result. I predict it will be Brighton 1, Chelsea 1. And I will see you for the match review.